Hello, this is Fritz-Ay Says, and welcome back to Eden's Reach. So, we just left off with the team prepping for a mission that Benji, Oswald, and Miles are going to be going on. So, I think it's going to be a more upper-class mission, so hopefully we'll get to see everybody all fancied up, glammed up. Yeah! Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I wasn't prepared for the week's work that was ahead of me, as both Benji and Oswald took turns training me to the best of their ability in all forms of combat. Oswald trained me in close hand-to-hand combat, just like he said. And while he's a nice and gentle teacher, I often find myself learning more from Benji with his strict, yet enriching regimen in range combat. Over the next 6 days, I became a lot more confident in my aim than with my fists, which probably shows who's better at teaching. Though it definitely didn't feel like the week came and went, the fateful day, the day of the mission, finally came. I wake up once more, still getting used to the earlier hours being a part of the midnight sun demands of me. I take my newly laundered clothes, neatly folded by Benji, and put them on. That sly raccoon is quite the neat freak, surprisingly, considering he does most of the cleaning in the base. It isn't all that surprising for me anymore to see him sweeping the floors on his off time. Guess you really shouldn't just judge people at first glance. Of course, the raccoon constantly reminding me of those words isn't helping me forget it anytime soon. As I take my time walking towards the training hall, my mind drifts towards Oswald. Of course, the wolf is quite sweet, perhaps even a bit territorial. Actually, nope. He's definitely the territorial type. There's no doubt about that. Whenever I think of it, though, a rather simple question goes through my head. Why? I haven't really warranted any of it, and as far as I'm concerned, it really leaves me in the dark about Oswald's intentions. Yeah, sure. The guy's about as straight as me, at the very worst, but people don't get like that over a simple crush. The thought of being his crush is a bit surprising, too. To be honest, I'm not too sure how I feel about it. Oswald may be nice for those reasons, but I'm not too eager on that possibility. Maybe because I might not generally reciprocate those feelings. I finally arrive at the training hall. Despite my self-imposed delays, I peek inside to see Oswald and Benji. Oswald was in the middle of training his footwork on the ring, while Benji was at the shooting range, as usual. I suppose, since this is the last day, I should train with them, but where to go first? So, I know Miles might like Oswald a bit more. I gotta go with Benji. I suppose my aim could use some work. No offense to Oswald, but Benji can definitely teach me more with less time. I walk past the ring, Oswald offering me a slight nod. I wave at him before going to the shooting range, and the wolf returns to his footwork practice. Benji is leaning on one of the rows, fiddling it with a pistol. I approach him rather casually, the raccoon nodding back to me. Hey, Benji.
Sup, hotshot? Want a round?
Benji hands me the gun together with the headphones on the row next to his, stands from his leaning position and readjusts his target to keep a 25-meter distance. Well, you always told me the past week?
Shooting's half constant practice and half timing.
Right. Let's do this. We take a few minutes going through a few rounds in the shooting gallery, alternating once we empty our magazines. I noticed over the past week that he's more comfortable giving a demonstration than telling me what to do, teaching me tips on how to better keep balance while keeping focus and moving around my form to see any mistakes I might have. I've gotten a general sense of self-correction from the past sessions, though it doesn't hurt to have Benji correct me here and there. We continue for a few minutes, plowing through most of the bullets that were available at the range. I've gotten a bit more confident landing the shots I'm expected to hit. To be honest, a lot of Benji's teachings do keep me in line for the range, but in actual practice, well, I'm certainly not too thrilled with the thought of having to put them into practice in the first place. I quickly finished the last few rounds in the magazine, the raccoon slowly clapping behind me as he leans on one of the training room pillars. He stands straight as I place the empty gun on its row, the raccoon patting me on the shoulder. However, he notices something behind me, causing me to lean as well. It's Oswald, who just so happened to finish training at the same time.
Yo, Oz, you mind if you...
Benji trails off, as Oswald isn't paying any attention to us. That's a bit odd. Usually, he'd at least greet us again before leaving. Benji seems to share my sentiment as well, as he sighs before recomposing himself. Well, that was pretty weird. I see him try to stifle his concern, yet his expression betrays that effort. Think he woke up on the wrong side of the bed?
Considering his bed, that's quite an impossibility. Besides, it'd be arguably preferable if that's what's happening at the moment.
Preferable? Why would a grumpy Oswald be preferable over anything? I quickly grow curious with the raccoon's choice of words, but before I can even get a chance to ask, he speaks first instead.
Well, shall we walk?
Oh, alright. We walk off from the training area towards the hallway, silence enveloping the atmosphere around us. The faint hum of the pipes echoes across the vents on the ceiling, tempting me to take the first step. I've always let Benji start conversations, for the short time I knew the raccoon. It always felt a lot more natural that way. I hesitate to speak, yet I eventually find the right words to break the silence. So, about Oswald. Benji glances at me nonchalantly, a hint of curiosity on his face. Did you notice anything off about him?
Off?
Yeah, like something's on his mind? Benji chuckles playfully.
Quite the phenomenon for the airhead, no?
I suppose so, but that isn't the weirdest part. Benji doesn't respond, and I decide to continue with my thoughts. It's not like him to stay silent about his emotions, right?
Quite observant, though it is a bit off the mark.
Benji pauses for a moment.
The wolf's remarkably good at keeping his emotions in check when it matters.
Really? I wouldn't have been able to tell. The raccoon places his hand on my shoulder, facing me as we stop in our tracks.
It's understandable. Devoid of the full picture, you may have a rather convincing template, given the information before you.
Benji faces back towards the door behind him, and I immediately recognize it as his room.
However, for your safety, I suppose context shall be your best shield, so you know where you and I stand.
The door behind him opens as he steps back, standing on the doorframe. He signals me to come with him, much to my confusion. You told me your room was off limits.
I said that it's off limits unless I told you otherwise, so...
He signals me again, and the idea finally settles on me.
Oh, come on now, pup. Nervous to see the nefarious machinations that come at my abode?
I roll my eyes as I humor him. Well, this is what you trained me for, right? He giggles as we enter his room. The walls are rather dark, purposely painted in a dark shade of green, neon lights trailing the walls. The color scheme of the room and glow of the lighting reminded me of his jacket. Benji has a bed bigger than the one I have in my room, and it's quite neat and orderly. The same thing can be said for the things on his end table and the desk opposite of the bed. That just confirms that Benji is definitely a neat freak. Surprising. For a raccoon.
I'll pack some things for the mission. I'll holler if I need you to grab something. Why don't you look around?
I nod as I walk towards the center of the room. It feels more spacious than my own room, despite all the extra furniture he has.
Oh, and try not to mess with the order of things. I don't want to have to clean this place up when I get back.
Will do, sir. I chuckle as I survey the area, with Benji sitting on the bed and taking some things from his desk. I notice a few things of note in his room, outside of what I've already seen. There is a row of small vials neatly arranged next to a diffuser, and a framed picture on the end table next to it. I approach the dresser first, taking a few of the vials and reading the inscriptions on them. Citrus and lemon. Earthen morning. Rainy day. All have a sort of nature theme to them. So, is this the culprit to your unique scent, Benji leans back at me with a slight surprise, followed by a chuckle.
Well, I like to remind myself what it's like to breathe rural air.
Rural, huh? That takes me back.
You're provincial too?
Yep. I'm from further south. It was quiet, and there was a lot of water surrounding our town.
Coupled with the cold breeze, it must have been a nice swim, I assume.
Yeah, it was, especially during the summer.
Well, I don't get the appeal. Being from the north makes you look at the cold a bit differently.
Huh, good to know. I put the vials back in their exact positions, as I'm sure Benji is a stickler for the details. I stand a few feet back before investigating the end table. I approach it, taking the picture and observing the frame front to back. It's rare to see physical photos, and even more so, actual wooden frames. I take a look at the photo itself. It's a family picture. Part of it is folded, almost purposefully. Hey, Benji.
Yeah?
I hesitate to bring it up, yet my curiosity makes me reaffirm my decision. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I show him the picture as he looks behind him. Is this your family? Benji's expression deflates into a rather bitter one, causing me to recoil and place the frame back on the end table. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to remind you of any...
No. It's fine, Hotshot. To answer your question, it is my family.
He turns back to continue arranging his stuff.
I have 6 siblings. I'm the oldest, and that makes us 7.
Are they in Bayline City? He shakes his head. They're back in the province, are they? No response. Oh, fuck. I just made a mistake, didn't I? I hope he isn't mad at me. I take a seat on the bed, making sure to keep myself behaved for the rest of the time I'm here.
I didn't leave because I was selfish.
He takes me by surprise, and I quickly glance back at him.
That's what you were thinking, right? Oldest brother leaves his family to gain riches on his own?
Not at all. The thought never even crossed my mind.
Maybe. Maybe you don't realize it.
A sigh escapes under his breath, surely to hide it from me.
I have my reasons. As much as this past week's been a delight, I don't believe we're there yet.
He turns to face me once more.
Just trust me, alright?
Okay. The door suddenly slides wide open, with Alice on the other side, a box covering up her chest. Hey, Benji, there's the rest of the stuff that... She cuts herself off when she sees me. Oh. Hey, Miles. Perfect timing. I wave at her, but Benji stands, approaching the tiger.
Everything's here, yes?
With some extra leftovers, as per your request. Benji chuckles.
Perfect. Thank you, darling.
He winks, Alice rolling her eyes in response. Her eyes dart to me instead. Your stuff's at the lounge in a box, too. All prepared for the mission at hand? I nod at her, and she promptly leaves, pouting at Benji before doing so, causing the raccoon to chuckle.
Well then, Hotshot, go ahead and go to the lounge. We'll need to get ready for the party, after all.
Oh. Alright then. I take the hint and leave first for the lounge. I'm sure Benji will catch up after a bit. He's always been quick with his business. I take a brisk pace to reach the lounge, crashing onto the couch as I groan to myself. I messed up, didn't I? I shake my head in embarrassment and shame. Damn it. I'm a lot more tactful than whatever that was. Bringing up his parents when they were hidden in the photo. Stupid, Miles, stupid! I suppose I did need to sate my curiosity, but... As I groan, I suddenly feel something pressing on my nose. A shadow looms over me with it, making me blink twice to see what was booping me. Nervous? I slowly stand as the shadow turns out to be Alice. A bit imprudent to sleep before you head out on a mission, no? I shift into a sitting position on the sofa, leaning back with a sigh escaping my lips. I know, but I kinda need to calm down. Alice stifles a chuckle. Did Benji give you the old boot after letting you in his room? I nod to her, the tigress planting herself on the living chair opposite me. She places a bag on the coffee table, signaling me to take a look inside. You're no gear. You can thank me and Allie for all the upgrades we found useful for your skill set. As I open the bag, Alice looks expectantly at me with each object I take out. Inside the bag is a gas mask, an improved version of my jacket, and a communicator device. Wow. This is... Alice's smile minimizes a bit, her eyebrows raising in tandem. Your hesitation doesn't bode well. You don't like it? No. I think it's amazing. I guess I'm just a bit disappointed in myself. I bet you were able to get more creative with the others' gadgets. Don't get your tail in a twist. It's your first mission after all, so you can consider this your starter set. Besides, I've already had your bracelet updated to interface with the party's sound system. That'll be all you need if things go smoothly. If things go smoothly, huh? My mind still feels uneasy about the entire mission. Dylan always said that I was the type to worry, but in this case, I feel like it's warranted. After all, a life and death situation would certainly be cause to think about the outcomes, right? As my thoughts drift to the near infinite possibilities that the mission might end, I quickly note a shiny piece of metal twirling in between Alice's fingers, slight gleams reflecting off its surface. Hey, Alice. Yeah? What's that thing you're spinning around? It looks like something fragile. Alice does a double take on what I see as a metal clip. Had she not considered that she could break it if it was a chip? It's not fragile, I think. Maybe it's 'cause I'm used to handling stuff like this. She lays it flat on her palm, showing it to me slowly. Besides, this isn't gonna be something you needed for the mission. It's a backup copy of the gadget for Oswald and Benji. A cloaking device that allows them to change their clothes' appearance through the use of hard light. A cloaking device? How does it work? Well, that's what I'm here for. Alice gazes towards the entrance of the room, causing me to look back as well, only to see Benji, the chip attached to his choker. With a simple press of a button... Benji's outfit quickly changes from his usual jacket to a very dapper and convincing tuxedo, completely concealing the bag he had strapped to him on his shoulder. Whoa! Infiltrating enemy lines means that they're gonna have to be non-threatening, but that often means that we have to come up with a roundabout way to smuggle any weapons and gadgets in. That would often implicate our insider man.
However, With this technology, we can still be Prince Charmings with deadly firearms strapped on our backs, and no one would be the wiser. Of course, rifles are not my style, so this is mostly for my other nifty trinkets I have to hide before we get to the back rooms.
As we talk, we hear footsteps echoing from the hallway. And speaking of the supposedly harmless Prince Charming type, Oswald comes into the lounge, already in a pseudo-tuxedo similar to Benji's, though his has a bit more of a personal touch.
Sorry for the wait. It took me a bit longer to get this thing to work.
Oswald places his hand close to his sleeves, revealing the actual gauntlets hidden beneath the hard light illusion. Oz, remember what I said? The illusion can easily break under sudden movement, so you have to be delicate with it.
Oh, sorry, Alice.
There's that distant tone again. Am I just imagining it, or... You two certainly look fit for a fancy party. Kinda wish I had an excuse to wear a tux too.
It may look comfortable, but believe me, Hotshot,
we've got our gear under all of this.
Indeed. Of course, this is just to get past the initial crowd, but...
Oswald pauses for a moment, causing the raccoon next to him some unease.
We'll be prepared to fight if it comes to that.
If we do this right, we won't have to. I prefer that option at the moment.
The wolf chuckles as he gently pats Benji on the back.
Oh, well, that's so. I'll keep the safety on then.
Oswald walks towards the exit of the base, looking back at me and Benji.
Well, are you guys ready?
Ready as I'll ever be, I guess. Benji moves past Oswald, disappearing into the corner.
Let me get the car ready.
Of course. Tell Corvus I said hi.
Humph.
Oswald and I follow the raccoon onto the hallway, his figure disappearing off into the staircase. I quickly try to pick up the pace, but Oswald lags behind, having no intention of keeping up with me or Benji. I constantly alternate between taking a few steps ahead and then waiting for the wolf to keep up with me, his gaze mostly directed at the floor. If his tone hadn't given it away by now, his averted gaze definitely sells the idea. Of course, the mission is just around the corner, but still... This is a large disconnect. Something that feels unnatural in a sense. I hesitate to bring it up to Oswald with all the signs I've been getting. Whatever is bothering him is going to be too disruptive to bring it up now. Maybe later. I quickly go up the steps towards the exit, my partner's steps echoing loudly behind me. As I reach the first signs of light, I quickly see Benji fiddling around outside the car.
Ah, you're here.
I give him a casual wave in response.
Hey, Miles, I'd like you to meet someone.
Oh? Who would that be? He chuckles as he wraps his arm around my shoulder. He ushers me to the driver's seat of the car, rolling down the window. Suddenly, an electrical buzzing comes from the inside of the car.
Greetings, Sir Miles. Charmed to meet your acquaintance.
I didn't expect this. Benji's car has an AI in it? So, artificial intelligence in a car?
I am much more than some measly AI, my good sir. I would highly suggest you rectify such notions in your mind before you enter my premises.
Oh, a surprisingly sassy one. I wonder why you picked this AI, Benji. The raccoon giggles as he steps into the driver's seat.
This is Corvus, Miles. He's got the power of the latest GPS and maneuverability as his arsenal, without all the boring, straight-laced bullcrap of conventional AI. Without the legal limitations as well, I might add.
Oh, well, that's reassuring. I almost forgot that what we're about to do is illegal in every sense of the word. At least this is a good reminder of where we stand. It's definitely jarring that I have to worry about being caught as a wanted criminal. It is maybe too late to turn back. My thought process gets cut off as the doors to the front seat of the car open, with Benji on the wheel. He ushers me inside with a quick waving motion, which places me back in the reality of the situation. Even if there was any way I could turn back from all of this, part of me won't let what happened to my life, to anyone else. If Eden's corpse decided that I was out of line fighting for the people I care about, like Dylan, then I'll gladly do it again. I have little to no doubts now. Stepping into the car, I'm quickly readied up with a seatbelt coupled with Corvus' engines whirring. Benji places his hand on my shoulder as he starts backing out of the bar's garage. Light quickly comes up from behind us from the sunset, an orange hue filling the back seats, a bit peeking through Oswald's large frame. This is it. The very first mission. The mission that starts the battle of my life. Hey. All right. Oswald and Benji look so cute. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so yeah, Eden's Reach is heating up. Let's get ready. If there's gonna be a battle, oh man. I hope the gun range was the right choice. Yeah. I'm excited for the next few builds. It looks like we're heading into quite the climax. All right. So this has been Fritz-Ay Says, and everyone have a nice day. Ciao.